X. Teaser. Fade in. Exterior New York City alleyway, night. A drunken couple in their 20s rollick and kiss each other sloppy. Countess Delia, appearing to be in her 30s with eyes that betray wickedness and perhaps a lack of sanity, approaches them.
Hey, lady, get lost.
You heard her.
Delia flashes a malevolent grin, revealing her canines extending into fangs.
Whoa, I'm not looking for any trouble here, lady.
It's too bad, then, that trouble found you.
Back off, or I swear I'll.
Delia knocks him backward, and he hits his head in a dumpster bin.
Silly man. I'll save him for dessert. You, my intoxicated lady friend, are the main course.
The drunk woman screams as Delia grabs her by the hair and bites into her neck. Copious streams of blood escape from the puncture wounds as Delia gulps deeply. The drunk woman moans sensuously until she goes entirely limp and no sound escapes her. Delia throws her across the alley and swoops in to drink from the man, who's barely conscious, but moans slightly when he too is bitten. Delia drinks for a few seconds, then wipes her mouth to remove the blood dripping from its corners.
Now I'm quite full. I didn't drain you, but I do feel compelled to end you.
Delia extends her nails to the point that they become claws. She slashes his throat with them, and as he bleeds out, she drops a single black rose at his feet. Act 1. Interior karaoke bar, night. Danny, a Honduran American woman in her late 20s, appears warm, but also looks like she could destroy you if you crossed her. Sits with Ash, a Middle Eastern woman appearing to be in her late teens with a friendly face but eyes that are ancient and wise. The bar is full of patrons who are sipping their first drinks of the night. A terrible singer gets up on stage and sings along to an old show tune.
Danny, how long have we known each other?
Since you answered my ad on Craigslist. That was like, what, 2 years ago?
3. And do you trust me?
Of course I do, Ash. You're my best friend.
Good. I'm about to tell you something that's going to sound crazy, and I want you to continue trusting me, okay?
Danny looks into Ash's eyes and gulps nervously.
Is this happening right now? Is she going to say it?
Danny, I'm a vampire.
Danny laughs hysterically.
Yeah, and I'm a werewolf. Roar.
It's not a joke, Danny. I really am a vampire. Here.
Ash puts Danny's hand on her chest. Danny blushes.
Ash, what are you doing? This is not appropriate public behavior.
No, really, feel it. No pulse.
Danny sighs, but then reluctantly keeps her hand over Danny's heart. After a few seconds, her eyes go wide.
How are you doing that?
I told you, I'm a vampire. See, I've even got fangs, and not the fake kind goths get to look cool.
Ash exposes her teeth and extends her fangs.
OMG. Is this real life?
It's real, Danny.
I'm going to need more booze.
Inside Danny and Ash's apartment, in Danny's room, Danny's on her laptop browsing the internet. She wears a necklace with a pentacle. Lady Cuddle Buddy, a white Persian, sits on Danny's bed, sleeping soundly. She brings a Wikipedia article on vampires up in a tab, opens up a new tab, searches Google for real vampires. She clicks open a few pages in the results.
No, I don't mean people who think they're vampires, but in reality they're really just big Annie Rice fans. I mean real vampires, the kind that suck blood and don't have a pulse, the kind that died 100 years ago or more. Why is there nothing on the internet about this shit? My best friend is a vampire? There has to be someone I can talk to about that.
Inside Danny and Ash's apartment, in Danny's room, Ash knocks on the door.
Danny, I think we need to talk.
Danny closes all the tabs in her browser and brings up Facebook.
Yeah, I think we do too.
All right, if I come in?
Sure.
Ash enters and sits next to Lady Cuddlebuddy and pets her. Lady Cuddlebuddy purrs loudly. Meow.
I know this is hard for you right now. I wish I had told you sooner, but I didn't want to endanger your life. You see, Danny, there are people out there that want to hurt people like me. And they'll hurt you too, probably. Especially since you wear that pentacle. A lot of them have a thing against witches too. That whole thou shall not suffer a witch to live thing. These people are very into religion.
There are thousands of people in Alabama that wear pentacles for protection. Are you saying that they're all in danger and they don't even know it?
They might be. But you definitely are, because your best friend and roommate is a vampire too. You might not be on their radar yet, but if you tell anyone about me, you might be. And they won't stop at killing you and me. They'll kill your mother and your brother too. Even if we survive somehow, we'll have to move somewhere far from here and make sure they've lost our trail, because once they've picked their targets, they don't stop hunting them. This is serious, understand?
Meanwhile, outside in the forest, Miles, mid-30s, white, rugged, and Nick, in his early 40s, white, and scruffy, are chasing after a werewolf. The werewolf is wolf-like but anthropomorphic, about 7 feet tall and running on two legs. Miles and Nick are holding 42 caliber revolvers, trying to get a clear shot. The werewolf gets to the edge of the woods where there's a road. It stops.
Look at that. Fleabag doesn't want to be exposed.
God is on our side, Nick. Time to put Cujo down.
Nick shoots once at the werewolf. The silver bullet burns its way all the way through the flesh and bone and hits the werewolf's heart. It howls in pain and falls backward.
Another one bites the dust. So, what next, Golden Boy?
He says wait for a sign. If I know you, you'll be wanting to celebrate.
Let me guess. You don't approve.
I told you that you were going to die of a liver disease because of this habit, and you completely ignore me.
I'm not one of your followers, Miles. I'm a skeptic. And when I die, I'll die on my own terms. And it will have nothing to do with fate or God or karma or any of that woo.
That's why I keep you around, Nick. You keep me grounded and humble.
The hell I do. You keep me around just 'cause you like looking at my fine ass.
Wishful thinking, Nick.
Hey now. I've never seen you with any ladies.
I'm in a long-term relationship with our Lord and Savior. That's why.
Praise him out.
God's a dude, Miles. That's gay.
You know what, man? Screw you. You want to get those drinks or what?
Inside Danny and Ash's apartment living room, Danny and Ash have Netflix on and are watching True Blood.
Listen, Ash, I need to talk to somebody about this. Somebody who understands.
You can talk to me, okay? I'm always here for you.
Ash, I feel like you've been lying to me from the start. I love you and all, but I don't want to talk to you about my feelings right now. Maybe I could tell Dr. Anchor. She has to keep everything we say just between the two of us. It's a HIPAA thing.
Oh, you don't think that your therapist talks to other therapists about their patients? She won't use your name, of course, but she'll tell them that she has a patient who believes that her best friend is a vampire. Suppose somebody overhears this, or suppose this is something they find amusing, so they spread it around the psychological community. If that happens, I guarantee a hunter will get wind of it at some point. They're good at finding people like me, or rather, us.
So you're saying I'm stuck with you?
I'm saying I care about you, Danny, and I don't want to see anything bad happen to you and the people that you love. I probably shouldn't have even told you.
No, I'm glad I know. There were always things that didn't make sense about you. You never seemed to eat or sleep or poop, and I just thought you were terrible at self care. But now it makes sense, and now I can get to know the real you, not the vision of you that you made up so you could blend in.
I want to share the real me with you. Let me start. I'm very old, but I can't tell you how old, because frankly, I don't remember exactly. And I've spoken so many languages, but I only ever use English, so I'd probably do better using a translation app than trying to speak them on the fly.
So vampires don't have a good enough memory to retain the knowledge of everything they have learned over their long lifetimes. Can you just give me a hint of how old you are? Are you older than 100?
Much older.
How old are we talking?
I was raised in a world where most people believed in many gods, not just one omnipotent one.
So you're thousands of years old then. So are you like wicked strong?
Stronger and faster than most.
How often do you have to drink blood?
I can get by on 2 pints every 3 days or so. Most vampires drink humans dry, which makes them stronger, but can also be addictive. Killing, I mean. So many of us lose ourselves in bloodlust. But knowing you made me want to be better. Before I knew you, I was one of the worst. I had a reputation in certain circles all over the world.
So why did you change?
Ash smiles, reminiscing.
Because you made me want to be better than that. You made me want to be decent, if not good. Seeing how you helped people with your social work and your activism, I realized that you deserved to have someone in your life that was not harming people behind your back. See, you reminded me of someone I knew decades ago.
Flashback to People's Park, Berkeley, 1969. Daisy, 19, Indian, a total flower child, and a bunch of other students are in a crowd carrying signs protesting on behalf of women's rights. Ash, in time period appropriate garb, is holding Daisy's hand.
Equal pay for equal work. Stop sex discrimination.
Outside People's Park later, the protest is over, and Daisy and Ash are captivated by each other. They kiss.
Daisy, I shouldn't be with you. I shouldn't live with you and the others. If I lose control,
You're on here, Iris. I trust you. You may be cursed, but you didn't choose that. You're a kind, gentle soul.
no, you are those things. I'm a monster. And one of these days, I'm going to slip up. If that happens, someone will come to put me down, and you should let them.
No, I know you, Iris. You deserve to live as much as anyone.
You don't know me. The things I've done, I deserve worse than death.
I know what you've done, but that was in the past. All that matters is now. And right now, you are the best person I know. Fangs and all.
I love you, and I'm going to try to deserve you.
I love you too, Mistress of the Night.
Back to the present in Danny and Ash's apartment.
I knew it. I knew you were gay.
More like bisexual, or pansexual as they say these days.
So I remind you of this girl that you loved.
Yes. And I love you too, as a friend though.
Well, that's cool. I feel special.
You are special. There's not that many people on Earth who truly care about others more than themselves. You are one of the few.
So you're attracted to me.
Look, I care about you, but you need to understand that I'm dangerous. The purer a person's soul, the better the blood tastes, and the more addictive it is. I can be your friend, but I can't get too close, or else I might lose control.
You sound an awful lot like Edward Cullen right now. You're like my own personal brand of heroin. Come on, I know you would never hurt me.
Don't be so sure. There's more to worry about than the possibility that I might drink you dry. I told you about the girl I loved, but I didn't tell you what happened to her. I lost her in the worst way possible, and I don't want to make the same mistake with you.
Are you going to tell me what happened?
Flashback to People's Park. At yet another rally, Ash holds a sign with one hand and Daisy's hand with his other.
We were together for many years.
Dissolve 2, the same scene, but Daisy's hair is grayish and she has a few wrinkles.
She got older and older, and I stayed the same age. I wanted to keep her human so that she wouldn't lose who she was, as I did so many years ago.
Dissolve 2, a hospital where Daisy's hair is white and her face is covered in wrinkles. She's hooked up to an IV drip.
But then she got sick. The doctor said it was lung cancer, and it was already stage 4, and she only had a month left to live.
Dissolve 2, Ash bites Daisy's neck, and Daisy sighs in ecstasy. Blood drips down to her hospital bed.
I couldn't bear the thought of losing her, so I did a very stupid thing. I bit her every day that month until she was fully turned.
Dissolve 2, inside a warehouse, Daisy stands facing Ash, who's holding a human arm with one hand and brushing the human's hair with her neck with the other. Daisy is visibly disoriented but shakes her head.
But you see, Daisy was a vegetarian. She refused to drink human blood. The longer you don't drink if you're a vampire, the more you lose control.
Dissolve 2, Ash is holding another human and Daisy is drooling, eyes wild with thirst. She bites him and blood streams down his neck to the floor, forming a puddle. He eventually goes limp, and she throws him across the room and gets down on her knees, licks the puddle of blood.
After 3 months of refusing to eat, I brought her a human to drink again, and this time, she couldn't stop herself. She drank him dry, and when she regained her ability to think, realizing what she had done, she was consumed with guilt. She begged me to enter. I couldn't, so the cycle continued. Eventually, I realized letting her suffer like this was the cruelest thing I could do to her, and I was being selfish by refusing to let her go.
Dissolve 2, Ash breaks a table leg and shoves it through Daisy's chest. Daisy smiles, falls into her true death.
I broke a table leg and drove it through her heart. The last expression I saw on her face was one of relief.
End of Act 1. Act 2, inside Danny and Ash's apartment living room, night.
That's horrible.
Danny gets up and hugs her.
Please don't. Your blood, remember?
We've hugged before.
And I was visibly uncomfortable with it, wasn't I?
I just thought you weren't a very fuzzy-wuzzy person.
I'm not, but also, I don't want to lose control.
Are you thirsty? Do we need to go out and find you a snack?
Actually, yes, it's been a couple of days.
What's your type? Who do you like to nom on?
I try to pick abhorrent men so I don't feel guilty later.
I thought you'd be more into women.
It's the same for me as it is for you and your sexual partners. I don't want to get attached. I, as you say, use them and lose them.
Danny holds her hand up for a high five, and Ash obliges her.
Sorry, I want to do the high five. That's the way to be. Come on, let's go.
Inside a nightclub, club-goers are either on the dance floor or at the bar, drinking and talking. Ash and Danny are also at the bar. Nick and Miles are also at the bar, scanning the crowd.
You see anyone that jumps out at you?
You know that thing that guys think makes them more desirable? Negging?
Ash gestures over towards Martin, who's in his 30s, wearing aviators and trying to look disinterested in the women he's talking to.
He's insulting her right now.
Ugh, pickup artists. They're the worst.
Danny winks at RJ on the other side of the dance floor. He's African American, tall, and his stare would melt most women like butter.
Ooh, that guy over there. Doesn't he have to resort to those pathetic tactics? He gets what he wants. I'm gonna go talk to him.
Ash brings Martin a drink. Miles watches intensely.
See that Arab type girl?
Yeah.
Her body is room temp.
Your magic contacts tell you that?
Yeah, and I'll tell you something else. That girl that was with her was wearing a necklace with a pentacle on it.
We should follow them. You take the heathen, I'll take the leech.
My pleasure.
Cut 2.
I don't need your charity.
Just drink it, you ass. I don't have time for games.
Martin shrugs, downs the drink.
What do you want?
Why don't you find out?
I was talking to someone here.
But now you're talking to me. And you could be doing something else to me if you would stop talking and get me the hell out of here.
Are you for real?
Try me.
Okay, let's go.
Good boy.
Cut 2. Danny is laughing at RJ's joke.
Good looking and funny. You're probably never lonely.
You'd be surprised, Danny.
Some girl broke your heart, didn't she?
I don't like to talk about it, especially not in places like this.
You want to forget about her? I can help you with that.
You're awfully forward for such a nice-looking girl.
A nice girl can want a little lovin', can't she?
You strike me as the kind of girl that's not going to call me tomorrow.
What is exactly what you need right now? Come on, let's go.
I'm not sure if...
You're thinking too much. Just let it happen.
Cut 2. Outside a nightclub, Ash and Martin are making out in the back alley. Nick is around the corner watching. Ash licks Martin's neck and he moans a little. Ash takes a bite and he moans louder. Blood streams down his neck onto the asphalt. Cut 2. Inside Danny and Ash's apartment in Danny's room. Danny and RJ are on the bed, stripping down while making out. RJ fishes a condom out of his jeans. He opens the pack with his teeth.
Put it on so we can get down to business.
You don't waste time, do you, go?
Not if I can help it.
Inside Nick's truck, Nick watches the silhouettes of Danny and RJ in the window.
A witch and a slut. The 1-2 punch.
Nick's phone rings. The caller ID says Miles. Nick accepts the call.
So our Fang friend was hunting tonight. She took a couple of pints from a random douche.
You didn't slay her on the spot?
I was gonna, but you should see the chick's aura. She's the oldest thing I've ever seen. We need to know more if we're gonna take her on. What about the witch?
Wait.
She was just getting down with that guy she was with.
A witch and a fornicator, then. When we slay her, the Lord will be pleased.
If you say so. What's our next move?
Keep following your girl, and I'll follow mine. And we'll just have to find out as much as we can about these two.
Copy that.
And do not fall asleep on the job.
I wasn't gonna.
Cut 2. Nick's truck. Daytime. Miles knocks on the window and Nick wakes up with a jolt.
I told you not to fall asleep. Lucky for you, I followed the bloodsucker here.
Nick unlocks the door on Miles' side. Miles gets in.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, sure. So we know the vamp and the witch live together. A vampire living with a human. It sounds like a bad sitcom, don't it?
Outside Danny and Ash's apartment, Danny leaves and gets into her car as Miles and Nick watch from across the street. Danny backs out of her driveway and drives down the street. Inside Nick's truck, Miles punches Nick in the shoulder.
What are you waiting for, you idiot? Just follow her.
You know what, Miles? You are a real mean bastard for no damn reason at all.
You're gonna lose her. Just go.
Nick turns the key and starts up the car.
Okay, I'm going. Asshole.
They follow Danny in their truck. Inside, Child Protective Services building, Danny sits at her cubicle, drudging through a pile of paperwork. Nick and Miles are watching her from the hallway when Martha, a 50 something busybody, spots them.
Quantum.
Oops. Excuse me, are you here to see someone?
Miles reaches into his jacket pocket and flashes her a fake FBI badge.
Actually, we're in need of some information.
What do you need, Mr.
Lee, and this is Agent Grant.
Miles gestures to Nick.
We're looking for a lead concerning a Hispanic female who works here. A witness said she wears a pentacle necklace.
Danny? What has she done?
She's not in trouble, miss.
Lane. Miss Martha Lane.
Miss Lane, this information pertains to a very important case. The Bureau would appreciate any help you could give us.
Well, what do you want to know?
Miles takes out a small notepad and pen.
What is Danny's last name?
Ruiz.
Have you noticed anything unusual or strange about her?
Well, frankly, I do wonder about that necklace, but she doesn't act like a Satanist. She tells me it was a gift from her mother for protection.
So you don't know anything about her religious beliefs?
Well, that's hardly a work-appropriate topic, you know.
Of course. Anything else?
Well, I don't know if it will help your investigation any, but frankly, she does seem a little bit, you know, gay.
Don't they all these days?
It's an epidemic!
Now, do you happen to know her mother's name?
Let me think. I think it was something Spanish. Maria? No, it was Maritza. Yes, that was right. Maritza. I'm sure of it.
Does she have any other relatives you know of?
Her father died before she was born, but she's mentioned a brother.
Do you know his name?
Louis, if I recall.
That's all for now, Miss Lane. Thank you so much for your time.
Now, what is this case you are investigating?
I'm afraid that's classified, ma'am.
Outside the CPS building, Miles and Nick leave and get into their truck.
We got a couple of names. Let's see how many Maritzas and Luis Ruizes there are in the phone book.
Inside Danny and Ash's apartment, in the living room, Danny and Ash play the latest Mortal Kombat on their Xbox One. Lady Cuddle Buddy sits between them on the couch. Danny wins and the screen yells, "Finish him!" Danny expertly mashes the correct buttons in sequence to activate a brutal fatality.
Pwned!
I've been playing games since before you were born, and I still can't beat you at this one.
That's because I'm a boss.
Danny's text message tone rings. She unlocks her phone and sees a video message. It shows her mother and her brother dead on the floor of their house.
What?
Two texts follow. Exodus 22:18 and "We're coming for you and your beloved bloodsucker next." Danny turns pale and she sobs wildly.
Danny, what is it?
Danny chokes back tears.
You were right. They killed them.
Right about what? Who killed whom?
I don't know who did it, but my mom and my little brother are dead. And they're coming for us.
Danny, I'm so sorry. But we need to leave now. Go pack. Just one bag. I'll get Lady Cuddlebuddy ready.
Danny's eyes glaze over, not processing what Ash has said. Ash puts Lady Cuddlebuddy in a carrier and grabs some food, litter, and a bottled water.
Danny, we have to go.
What? Where are we gonna go?
Ash goes into Danny's room and gets out a travel bag and throws some clothes into it.
We're going to disappear. Where doesn't matter. We just need to leave, okay?
This is your fault.
Ash throws some deodorant, shampoo, a hairbrush into the travel bag and zips it up.
I'm sorry, Danny, but you need to focus on getting out of here right now.
It's because of you. My mom always been a broja, and nobody heard her until now. Broha.
Ash goes into her own room, throws some clothes in a suitcase.
I'm sorry for everything, especially for what I'm about to do.
Ash lightly slaps Danny across the face. She closes the suitcase.
We need to go.
Ow.
Run now. Hate me later. They could be on their way right now.
Fine. Alright, let's go.
Danny carries Lady Cuddlebuddy, and she and Ash go out the door. End of Act 2. Act 3. Outside Danny and Ash's apartment, Nick picks the lock to the door. Miles and Nick enter. It's completely empty.
They ran.
I can see that.
Did you happen to write down their tag number? Nick, you're absolutely the biggest dumbass I've worked with.
Well, obviously you didn't do it either, Einstein.
No matter, they'll slip up and then we'll be right back on their tail.
What do you want to do in the meantime?
Find another abomination to hunt.
I bet there's tons of abominations at the local bars. We should just check them all out. Just as a public service, really.
Sometimes I wonder if you're a real hunter or just a run-of-the-mill alcoholic, Nick.
Why not both?
Inside the vampire bar, 3 days later, various vampires drink blood mixed with alcoholic beverages. They're laughing, talking, and playing darts, pool. Ash and Danny go right up to the bar and address the bartender.
I'm here to see the council.
New in town.
Yeah.
I'll let them know you're here.
Ash lowers her voice.
Let me be the one who speaks. Most vampires don't consider humans to be anything more than livestock. They'll be able to smell that you're human, but they won't move to harm you in my presence.
Side vampire bar, the Vampire Council plays Texas Hold'em. They appear to be varying ages, the youngest amongst them appearing to be a preteen, and the oldest seeming to be about 80. There's 12 of them in all. The bartender stands in the doorway.
New blood in town wants to announce herself. I've never seen her before, but she feels old and powerful. She's here with a human girl.
Oh. Send them in.
Yes, ma'am.
The bartender turns toward Ash and Danny.
They say you can come on in.
Much obliged.
Ash and Danny go through the door.
Amira, is that you?
I go by Ash these days, but yes.
And who is your human companion?
Danny, sir, I'm a close friend of Ash's.
Are you really? How quaint, Ash. Befriending a human as though they are our equals.
A lot has changed since I was last in New York. I'm not the rampaging psychopath you knew then, Robert. The rest of you weren't on the council in those days. I would think you could appreciate that my new self will draw far less attention than my former antics.
No doubt, and if you don't mind me saying it, your aura shows that you are ancient and very powerful. We could use someone like you to manage a problem, one that could expose our entire race.
I will be happy to help however I can. What is the problem in question?
Someone is draining humans dry and just leaving their bodies out in the open for authorities to find. Not only that, they are killing additional humans not only for food, but for fun. The humans think they are looking for a psychotic serial killer.
Without the veil, one of them would realize the culprit was a real vampire.
Excuse me? What's the veil?
Danny, is it? Danny, the veil is what keeps vampires hidden to humans unless they choose to reveal themselves. It causes vampires to appear to be breathing and have a pulse if they are medically examined. It causes humans to instinctively dismiss the possibility of our existence as absurd.
But Ash told me. But Ash told me and showed me what she was, and I was able to understand.
Yes, because I wanted you to. Our will can pierce through the veil if we so desire.
Sally clears her throat.
Anyways, we need to find out who is potentially exposing us, track them down, and stop them.
Understood. I will report back to you when there is progress.
Inside Danny's car,
How come you let them boss you around? Aren't they all, like, younger and weaker than you?
You don't get to live as long as I do by making enemies of the local authorities. Even if they cannot take me on themselves, they can find somebody who will match my strength if they need to. And with a good strategy, even those who are weaker than their enemy can outmaneuver them. Always remember, everyone in this world is vulnerable. Even me.
inside the morgue attendant outside the autopsy room. Ash and Danny try to walk in, but he stops them from entering.
I'm sorry. Only authorized personnel are allowed in.
Ash looks deep into the morgue attendant's eyes.
Keep looking into my eyes. Good boy. Now, listen. My partner and I are from the FBI and are here to investigate the case. You have seen our ID and everything is in order.
Yes, everything is in order. Go on in.
Danny looks at Ash, clearly impressed.
Cool. Jedi mind trick. I hope you haven't done that on me.
You're my friend, Danny. I would never try to manipulate you to do something you didn't want to do.
I hope so.
The medical examiner seems confused.
Who are you? I've never seen you before.
Do the thing.
Look into my eyes, ma'am.
The medical examiner is mesmerized.
Good. We're with the FBI, and we would like to inspect a recently exsanguinated body.
The Jane Doe?
Cat. Cat. Oh, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah, I had it open and it paused. It happened.
Sorry about
We
that.
could go
I'm back.
to the medical examiner. Looks confused, I think, is when we lost it. All right, it looks like Vince is back. Vince, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
We can't hear you. Refresh your
I
Discord.
can hear him.
I can hear him.
I can't hear him.
I can hear him. What?
There were
I cannot
times
hear
where
him.
he kind of went robotic, but
Did I go robotic? Because I'm totally here.
you're there. Yeah, I hear you.
I can hear him. Greg, are you still having issues?
Yeah. Let me refresh my.
All right, go
Hola,
again.
¿cómo
Vince.
estás?
Testing
Oh,
1,
it's
2,
fine.
3.
Fine for me now.
Vince, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, I can hear you now. That's weird.
All right, perfect.
Gucci.
Sorry about that. We left off at the Jane Doe.
The medical examiner is mesmerized. So I just went back one line.
Loud noises.
Sorry, my computer crashed.
Technical difficulties.
Good. We're here with the FBI, and we would like to inspect a recently insanguinated body.
The Jane Doe?
Yes, that's the one.
The medical examiner uncovers a body lying on the table.
I just performed the autopsy. I stitched her up just before you arrived.
Ash inspects the body neck first. There are 2 puncture wounds, 3 centimeters apart.
See this? Fang marks. This was definitely a vampire attack.
Should you be saying that in front of this chick?
Don't worry about it. I'll make sure it never leaves this room. Now, ma'am, do you remember hearing anything about the crime scene?
An officer mentioned there was a black rose at the victim's feet.
Ash's eyes go wide.
What? What is it?
We need to leave New York.
Ash meets the medical examiner's eyes again.
Forget everything you've heard from the 2 of us.
Forget everything.
Let's go, Danny.
Outside Danny's car, Ash and Danny walk to the car.
What was that about?
That black rose is a signature. The signature of someone I used to know.
Are you going to tell me who?
I'm not proud of what I've done now, and she's a reminder of it.
Flashback to a Hungarian castle, Delia's bedroom, 1529. Ash, in crow form, flies through Delia's bedroom window and watches her sleep. Silently, Ash morphs into her normal form. She places a hand over Delia's mouth, and she wakes up in a panic.
Shh, Countess. No need for alarm. I will not harm you. I need you to be quiet, nod if you understand.
With a tear forming in the corner of her eye, Delia nods.
I've been watching you, Countess. The way you treat your war prisoners, you have quite a sadistic streak. I like that. I'd like to make you my companion, but that involves changing you. You'll be stronger, faster, your senses will be enhanced. Would you like that, Delia?
Delia nods again.
I'm going to remove my hand from your mouth. Do not scream, or I will have to harm you after all. Understand?
She nods.
Good.
Ash removes her hand from Delia's mouth, and she inhales deeply.
Who are you? What are you?
You've heard stories of my kind, I'm sure. The things that go bump in the night, the dead who come back to life, the ones who crave human blood.
You're a vampire?
One with more powers than most. And I could teach you some of my tricks if you would agree to become like me.
Would I not be able to walk in the sun?
You would be able, but weaker when you tried. You couldn't use your powers. You would be as weak as any mortal, except you would be much harder to kill.
I do like the idea of power, but at what cost will it come?
What humanity you have will fade over time. You will forget what it's like to be human. In fact, you will only see humans as cattle.
I think I already see most of them that way, to tell you the truth.
Then you will not be sacrificing much at all, Countess.
Very well. I agree to allow you to turn me into one of your kind. What must happen next?
I will come to you every night until the moon is full. Every day you will become less human. You will start to crave blood. Eventually, you will be fully transformed, and when that happens, believe me, you will know it.
Interesting.
And I will remain ageless for an eternity?
Yes, that and more. All that is required is that I bite you every night.
Will it hurt?
You will feel no pain, only immeasurable pleasure.
Do it then.
As you wish, Delia.
Back to the present inside Danny's car.
Over the years, we ravaged and destroyed entire countries. We parted ways in the 1700s. Her hunger for pandemonium was much greater even than mine. I rejected her heartlessly. That is when she started leaving the Black Rose at the scene of her crimes. It symbolizes the death of, well, our love, twisted though it was.
You love that woman?
I don't believe you can understand what it's like to sire a progeny. You feel this overwhelming sense of protectiveness and, yes, love for them.
Are you sure you're not gay?
I've lived a long life, Danny. I've had companions that were men and women and everything in between. And does it really matter in any case?
No, but I would just like to know you. Who you really are, not who you pretend to be.
We shouldn't stay here. We should leave town.
No, we need to stop this Dahlia before she kills again. She has all this power because you gave it to her. Now she's terrorizing this world. And to be honest, that's on your head. If you want to be a decent person, you have to take responsibility.
She will never stop.
Why don't you just try asking her before jumping to that conclusion?
You really think just talking to her will change anything?
Just killing her would make you no different from the hunters you have to try to redeem her.
Fine, we'll stay, and when we find her, we'll try your way. But I firmly believe that the only way to stop her will be to end her.
Inside She Club night, fairies, the She, are crowded together, dancing and sparkling in the strobe lights. In the back room, the She King Liam, looking ancient and regal, sits on his throne with electronic dance music playing in the background. Delia, in dog form, trots in.
Who led this dog in here? Someone. Remove him.
Before the She servants can oblige him, Delia takes her normal human form.
I don't understand. Your aura doesn't read as that of a shapeshifter.
I know how to change my aura.
I would ask you to teach me a trick, but I suspect you're not here for pleasantries.
You are correct. I'm here to kill you, Shadow King.
You're surrounded by my servants who would die for me. Do you expect to make it out of here alive?
You think I would come here if I could not take on your lackeys?
Maybe you are insane. Or maybe you are very stupid. She. Yansai.
The She manservants attack Delia. Delia takes out an iron sword and carves through the flesh of each attacker, causing them grievous harm. They bleed sky blue blood and moan in agony. She hacks at their legs, disabling them.
I'm not after you. I'm after your master. Now back down, all of you, and let me slay the man who keeps you in chains of servitude. He does not deserve your loyalty.
We can't stop you, but we will remember this.
I'm counting on it.
Delia flies at King Liam and sinks her fangs into him as blue blood streams down from his neck to the floor. He loses pallor as Delia drains him rapidly. Eventually, he stops struggling and goes completely limp. Delia places a black rose at his feet, then takes the form of a hawk and flies out the window. End of Act 3. Act 4. Inside a vampire bar, Aiden, young, smug-looking, appears before the vampire council.
Council, last night one of your own murdered the Shadow King. I demand that you bring the killer to justice.
Did the killer leave behind a black rose?
How did you know that?
We've been having trouble with one of ours killing humans in such a way that we could possibly be exposed. That is the killer's signature. Our investigators should arrive shortly with a report of their progress, if you would like to wait.
New York's Shidara, I demand that I be involved in this investigation. I need to make sure this is taken care of quickly, or there will be chaos among Shi, and perhaps violence towards your kind.
We understand, Dara of She.
Ash and Danny enter.
I hope I'm not interrupting, but I've identified the killer who could expose us.
Please do. Do tell. Her name is Countess Dahlia, and she is Ash's prodigy from years ago.
That is most disturbing. As your progeny, she surely learned many things that will make her more powerful than an average vampire.
Yes, she knows many of the tricks that I've learned over millennia, although certainly not all of them. She will be a formidable foe.
I demand that she be executed under Shi law.
Though we do not condone her actions, Delia is of vampire kind and shall be dealt with under our law. Our law states that she be captured and put on trial for her crimes.
Ridiculous. I remember when your kind would end each other, even for the most minor of crimes. And for this outrageous offense, you will not give my people justice?
I can see from your aura that you are of the she. From your tone, I assume that Delia has killed one of your own?
Not just any Shi. Our king.
I see. So you must be the Dara, his second in command?
That is correct.
How are your tracking skills, Dara of the she?
My name is Aiden, and they are excellent.
Brilliant. Perhaps you can help me find her that offended your kind, then.
I will assist you on one condition. Should we find her, you must allow me to end her myself.
No, we have to bring her to justice. Even if it is vampire justice, she deserves a chance.
Shh, Danny. You have a deal, Dara.
Brilliant! Let's get started, shall we?
Outside an abandoned apartment complex, the building is in shambles. Black roses grow in planters all around the building.
This has to be nice.
Be careful. She killed your king, and she could kill you too.
Inside an abandoned apartment complex, Ash, Danny, and Aiden enter the building. A trail of black rose petals leads upstairs.
This is bad, isn't it?
She was expecting us. We might as well find out what she wants us to see.
Ash, Danny, and Aiden go up the stairs, following the trail. The trail leads them into a bedroom. On all four walls are the photographs of Ash and Danny.
She's been watching us?
She knows about you. She might be angry at me, but she's surely fuming that I have a new companion these days. One that's changed me.
What does she want?
What she's always wanted. For the world and me to be as mad as she is. Right now she's working on New York. She wants the shadow people and the vampires to go to war with each other. She'll revel in the chaos. She'll probably try to pull another party into the fray. Smart money's on the werewolves.
We have to stop her. What do we do next?
She's anticipated our every move. My guess is she'll make her presence known sooner rather than later. For now, we should leave, and you and Danny should get some sleep.
We can't just wait around for her to terrorize us.
Yeah, I don't know her, but the Countess seems smart. She won't just let us catch her. Maybe the best we can do is to let her come to us and be ready when she does.
You two get some sleep. I will warn the werewolves.
Inside Aiden's apartment, Aiden wakes up with a jolt. His eyes glow red briefly, and his expression turns malevolent. He puts on some clothes and leaves his apartment. Outside the national park, Aiden approaches some werewolves in wolf form.
Which one of you is the alpha here?
The wolves shift into human form.
I am. What do you want, fairy boy?
You. Dead. Right now, preferably.
You think you can overpower me and all my boys?
Aiden pulls a dagger out of his jacket.
See this? It's silver. And it's all I need to end you.
And me. Your aura says fairy, but your words say vampire. Who's pulling your strings?
Ash approaches.
What's happening here?
This she-boy is threatening me.
If that's true, then he's not himself.
Then who is he?
Aiden laughs.
He's being controlled by a vampire. If you allow me to take him to the council, I'll make sure he's taken care of.
You think I'll go quietly?
No, I think you'll fight me.
You're right about that, Ikram.
I don't go by that name anymore.
You never did tell me your real name.
In my time, you could control a person with only their true name at your disposal. Is that what you did to the Dara?
No. I don't know the old magic like you do. This was a neat little spell I picked up in Italy from a witch in hiding from the Catholics.
Enough chatter. Take him away.
As you wish, lycanthrope.
Ash flies towards Aiden, who brandishes his silver dagger. He slashes her with it, and her skin burns to its touch. Ash only stops for a moment before extending her nails into claws.
That hurt.
Continue to attempt to subdue me, and you will only receive more pain.
Is that what you think?
Ash knocks Aiden's dagger out of his hand.
You won't kill an innocent she.
I won't have to.
Using incredible speed, Ash gets behind Aiden and chokes him out.
I'm glad this could end without bloodshed.
The one who did this will be disappointed. Be careful the next few days. She may make another move to eliminate you. Her goal is complete chaos.
Thanks for the warning.
You're welcome, Wolf.
Ash carries Aiden away. Inside the vampire bar's back room, Ash runs in carrying Aiden.
He's under Delilah's control. We need to reverse the spell. Do you have any witches on retainer?
One who walked this earth. As long as you don't know a reversal,
This is newer magic. It's not my area of expertise. Please call your witch before we are forced to kill the pro-Ezra leader of this she.
Very well.
Robert turns on a cell phone and selects one of his contacts, then presses the dial button. The phone rings.
Yes, Clea. This is Robert from the council. We need your help, and time is of the essence.
Clea, a teenage goth with a septum piercing, an eyebrow piercing, and quite probably a few more in other places, appears out of thin air.
A teleportation spell. Impressive for one so young.
I heard it was urgent, so what do you need? Hemophiles?
One of our own reports that this unconscious chi is being controlled by one of our kind through magic. Can you reverse the spell?
Strange. His aura shows no signs of possession or magic that typically sparkles of the Sheed.
Many years ago, I taught the offending party how to disguise auras. If it helps, she said she got the spell from an Italian witch.
Then we're dealing with Roman magic. I have a universal reversing spell that should do the trick.
Please cast it fast before he awakes.
Clea touches Aiden. and wakes up panting and sweating, as though from a particularly bad nightmare.
Dara, is it you I'm speaking to?
Who else?
He doesn't sound like somebody born in the 1500s.
That means nothing. She's probably learned how people of this time speak by now if she's paid any attention at all.
How can we be sure he is himself?
What are you talking about? Can't you see my aura? Of course I'm me.
You should hold him somewhere for observation until the investigation is over.
I will not be held by a bunch of bloodsuckers. Does she need my leadership?
You can lead them from the inside of a cell. We will allow you to make phone calls so long as we can monitor them. Bartender, take our sheed guest to the basement and put him in a fee-proof cell.
Yes, ma'am. Come on, Dara. Let's go.
If you will excuse me, Counsel, I must go back to the hotel to check on my human companion.
Of course.
Inside a hotel room, Delia hovers over Danny.
Delia, do not harm her.
Why not? She's nothing but cattle. She exists to feed us and others further up on the food chain. You were the one who taught me that.
And I regret it deeply now.
Danny half wakes up.
What's going on?
Danny, do not move.
Why?
Danny's eyes adjust, and she sees Delia for the first time. She screams.
I won't let her hurt you, Danny.
You think you can stop me from slashing her wrist or draining her dry if I decided to? Right now?
I'm older, stronger, and faster than you.
But are you fast enough?
More than enough. Don't make me show you. You can stop this, all of this, right now. You can be better than this if you choose it. Danny showed me that, and I could show you.
You think I want to be anything other than who I am right now? I am already better than she is, because what she makes greatness is power, and I have quite a lot of that, thanks to you.
You don't have as much power the way you're going about things as you would if you cooperated with the council and made allies of the Shade, the lycanthropes, and the local witches. One is a weak number.
How dare you call me weak? You, who moons over a human as though she is not an inferior race? This human, like the one before her, has poisoned your mind.
No. For the first time in decades, I can see clearly thanks to her. Power is not what defines us. It's good that does that. You could be good too, if you chose it.
What good would good do me?
I believe you would feel a burden lifted, as I did when I first decided to live an ethical life.
I have no burdens. I am free. You are chained by your self-imposed mortality.
Sometimes moral constraints are good in life, just like boundaries are good in relationships.
Silence, human girl.
Your problem is with me. Leave her out of it. She means nothing to you, so why waste her energy? You'll need every ounce of it in order to take me on.
I don't want to fight you, sire. You hurt me. But all I really want is for you to come back to me. For things to be like they used to be. Us against the world. Do you remember what we used to have?
Ash allows a stake to fall from her sleeve into her hand discreetly.
I remember. Truth be told, I miss you too, my dear progeny. Come to me. Let us rekindle old flames.
What? This bitch wants to murder me and you're going to smooch her up? What the actual fuck?
Ignore her. Focus only on me, on us.
Delia gets closer to Ash. Gets in close enough for a kiss. Ash brings her hand to Delia's chest. Delia sees the stake and grabs it away from Ash with one arm, and grabs Ash with the other.
Say goodbye to your girlfriend, mortal girl.
No!
Delia drives the stake right into Ash's chest and makes a quick getaway in the form of mist. slipping under the crack under the door. Danny runs over to Ash and holds her, sobbing.
You can't be dead. Please, don't be dead. Just move. Just a little, please.
End of Act 4. Fade to black.
Yeah, let's clap it up.
Ripperino.
Appropriate fapping sounds.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Hell
I
yeah.
like the whoop whoop.
Air horn.
I wish we had the horn.
Bark.
Someone just barking.
With only minor
Bark.
technical difficulties.
Barking, not barking.
Oh,
Jesus.
okay. Sorry.
Bark, bark, bark.
And
Meow.
naturally, it's time for me to run to the loo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Meow.
Yeah, meow.
Less of that, Lady Cuddle Bunny.
And just to clarify, it seems that Ash is actually dead, according to the script.
No.
So I'm sorry, Vincenzo. I know you're sad.
Wait,
I'm sad.
Ash is actually dead?
Rip.
But I
That's what
wanted
it's-
to be lesbian lovers with Ash.
But, well, I mean, you're the one critiquing of the fact that she was gay the whole time. so.
Well, I mean, she kind of said, hey, don't you like girls like a million gajillion times?
And other things, apparently.
She's like, I thought you were gay. Like, I thought you were into what I got going on here.
I do
Are you
have to
sure
point
you're
out.
not gay?
I do have to point out. Ash did mention she had relationships with men, women, and other things.
Oh
Everything
shit.
in between.
Yeah,
She fucked a werewolf.
most likely.
I mean,
I'm a
I'd
fairy.
fuck a werewolf.
Easy boy, settle down. Down boy.
Oh man.
Oh jeez. All right, well, let's go through from the top to the bottom, and if you have anything you'd like to say about the script, actually before we do that, sorry, I'm scrolling all the way up so people can see what the script name is.
I can't because I can't see it.
Oh, it'll be there one second. But first of all, thank you.
Like, literally, I'm looking at a blank screen. That's what I'm looking at. So.
The holy,
The holy
Roller.
roller.
holy roller. My bad.
Thank you. Please,
Shout out to the holy scroller, Smish.
who is
The
who
whole-
is sick tonight?
Who can't be with us.
Get
Rip.
well soon.
Vince, the holy Marola.
The holy roller. But thank you to the author for letting us read your script. Hopefully, we'll have some great notes for you tonight. And on that note, let's start from the top with Kat. If you have anything you liked about the script or any critique that you want to give, go ahead and do so now. You don't have to if you don't want to. I'm not going to put you on the spot.
Well, I mean, I enjoyed like reading through it. I mean, there's a couple of points where it's kind of feels a bit cliched. It could probably do with a little bit of a objective rewrite, but it's not like a bad story. The bones are there for something decent. So yeah, I had a good time, and I was sort of into it right up to the end. I wanted to know what was going to happen. So like, obviously, it's an interesting concept.
All right, cool. Is that it?
Yep.
All right. Let's go down the list. Next.
That would be me.
Yes, it would.
Yeah, thank you for letting us read it. It was a lot of fun. I quite enjoyed that. I feel like I had a bit of difficulty working out pronunciations of some of the things, but you know that's Irish. That's Irish she for you. They're always, you know, with the pronunciation, they're always like that. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I felt like, yeah, I agree that there's some of the dialogue got a little bit clunky at times, but you know, we ripped through it pretty good. So I also felt like it's a terrible shame about Ash at the end. Oh my god.
Right.
It's like it felt like she was kind of the main character all the way through, and then she's gone. So that kind of feels like a bit of a shame to me. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. All right, Jay Guinness.
Hello.
Hello.
So, yes, Destin, thank you for letting us read this. It is, you know, it's very fun. quite light-hearted, which I enjoyed, and I like that some of the that there's quite a large bisexual and queer aspects to the characters, which is kind of a trope with vampire stories, but we really haven't seen anything on television. So I'm going to start with what I liked about the screenplay, and I like the twists in it. I didn't see any of them coming, which is good, very very good. Well done. Of course, the dialogue is a bit clunky, but it does improve as you go on. So, a couple of suggestions for improvements. Early on, when Ash is talking to Danny and explaining that she's a vampire, I didn't find any of that scene believable. Luckily, you have a very well written scene with the flashback right afterwards. I would actually suggest starting your script with that flashback and then just cut straight ahead to Danny saying, okay, so you're a vampire. Because we really don't need to hear too much about it.
It's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Also, you are a bit too in love with your own mythology. I do like that it is a story that contains vampires, werewolves, fairies, and witches all together. The problem is that we've had so many vampire movies. You spend a lot of time explaining your world building and your exposition, and not a lot of it is needed. I would also suggest that the what's the villain's name? I can't remember. But that flashback where we are introduced with her as the Countess. I like that it's a reference to Countess Bathory, of course, but it isn't necessarily needed. Continuing on, the main problem I have with this is that it is at this point in history, it's quite cliche. We've already had True Blood. Supernatural had a failed spin-off series which was about warring gangs. We've got World of Darkness.
The Vampire
so
Diaries.
You really need to, and the Vampire Diaries, of
Originals.
course. So you need to
Vampire
find a
Diaries,
very
right.
unique aspect to the screenplay. I like that Ash is basically the main character for the first script. So for your pilot, I was just making her the main character, then for like the whole thing. Other than that, I can't think of anything right now.
Okay, well, I think that was good. I think those are really good notes for the author to walk away with.
I'll make some short comments.
Cool.
Quick comments.
Yes, please, Greg.
First off, I think what the real flaw of the script is that you've got like a cool story, good dialogue, but the problem is that the writer, it's not really a problem. The writer's fresh into screenwriting, so there's it's like some tells that the writer needs to become more comfortable with writing in the form of a screenplay rather than a story. And I'm going to make a few quick pointers here. There's a difference between passive prose and active prose, right? A lot of times you have talking to the author in the script where it's like someone is doing something, like this person is sitting, and it might seem like a minor thing, but it's really important to eliminate that and say they sit. Uh, there's moments where the prose seems passive, like people are doing this and that, could be doing this and that, like it's not firm. Like as a screenwriter, everything you're writing becomes reality in the script, and you need to have a more aggressive, for more confidence in writing the lines. Another trick is also to space things out. The script is 50 pages. You have like 10 pages extra. There are lines in here where it's like on page 2, you've got like a prose that's like 7 lines. Typically in a script, the thicker the action lines, the more difficult it is for people to read. Spread things out. A good rule of thumb is there should never really be more than 4 lines. It should be more, give the script more breathing room. And then, as you'll find, is that by spacing out your action, then you can really evaluate each sentence. Is this sentence confident? Is this sentence actively describing what's happening rather than taking more of a passive observer role from the writer perspective? Go to the story. I think it was daring that the author chooses to kill Ash at the end. I think it is a little bit of an awkward ending in that sense. Because it's an odd tonal ending. Like maybe I just get the feeling that there could be one more scene that shows where the story is going. Because when you have a pilot, the idea of a teaser is to hook someone into the story, and the idea of the end of each act is to keep someone tuned in. And most importantly, is the ending where you want people to tune back. And because Ash is such a pivotal, driving story character, I guess in this respect, we could call Ash the Qui-Gon Jinn of the story because she dies. In this respect, there needs to be some lingering, strong, remaining reason that's going to push the story engine past the script. And in that respect, here you have Danny mourning Ash's death. I feel like in that respect, the script should focus more on Danny, and then really make it like, all right, make the audience fall more in love with Danny, understand the character, and understand what Ash's death means to Danny and where that's going to bring it. Ultimately, I think the biggest strength of the script is that because it has a lot of dialogue and because there isn't actually that many effects. There's some, but not that many. It could be made cheap. Uh, even on like an almost no budget, with just having a few simple locations, like a stage section for like the flashbacks and costumes, and then some simple effects. So in that respect, it's good because it's something that realistically the author could direct themselves. One more thing I do want to say: the title should be changed. There was already a movie that came out a year ago called Venatus, and I'm not really sure what it is or how it actually applies to the story. Maybe some people here have some ideas of an alternative, catchy, compelling name that can encapsulate the story a bit more.
Hot, sweaty vampire lesbian.
Something. But all right, that's it.
Well,
Yeah.
thank you, Greg. How about you, Em? Em is one of our first-time readers.
Oh God, the pressure. Okay, yeah, it was my first time reading a table read, so thank you for that, writer, whoever you are. I'm sorry, I don't know.
Destin Hicks.
Okay. I appreciate it, and it was fun, and I hope I get to do it again. It was hard to, even though I had minor roles, it was hard to follow things down in terms of like what I would do differently or notes that would be useful. So I'm just gonna try to do it like off the top of my head, off what I could remember.
Okay.
I'm gonna go ahead and add like a +1 to the dialogue being clunky. And it's just like little things that I saw. Like for instance, when he said, I think someone was in a car, one of the hunters was in the car, and the other hunter called him and it was like his screen name, like Miles, popped up on the phone. He picks it up. I feel like you don't need to say he picks it up. Like clearly he's going to answer the phone, and that's what leads to the follow-up dialogue. So like little like add-ons at the end, I felt kind of stalled or halted like the momentum that the script was carrying and the tone.
Okay.
And it happened kind of a little bit, but just overall the dialogue being kind of clunky. And I didn't have like a visual picture of the hunters, like how they looked in my head, because I felt like I didn't get enough information about like what they were wearing. And then like I found where they were introduced, and it says like mid-30s, white and rugged, and like that's it for Miles.
Mhm.
And then like early 40s, white and scruffy, and that's it for Nick, which is like really sad because both of those characters were like really fun dialogue in between them. Like I feel like there could have been so much more fleshing out between the two of them because they were funny. Like one of them's like this super like religious type, and the other one's literally just trying to shoot things and like drink and stuff. and it was just like they could have been done so much, like you could have painted their image so much better to help the reader like get attached to them. And then on top of that, they randomly just disappear from the story. Like they go off like, I feel like they were so well written, the dialogue they shared, that it was almost an injustice to have them just be the type of like see evil, kill evil, go find more evil. Like they could have been so much more integral into the script. Like I would like to have seen them like show up at the end when like the confrontation's happening and being like wide-eyed at a room full of evil that they get to potentially kill, and then like they could come busting in and just like have them partake in that. Like you spend a lot of good time and effort making them interesting. Don't just send them off to a vampire bar to go kill people for whatever reason. Like make them fun because they already are fun. Keep them around. I would.
So let me ask you something. So when you were talking about their descriptions of like the mid-30s white rugged, so do you think because one is kind of like a cowboy-like character and one is a zealot, it's a priest character, should their clothing reflect that? Should we get that description in here? Like one is in a priest, in priest attire, and the other one is in like a leather jacket, for example, like smoking a cigar.
Like have it like modernized. Like you could have him look like, I don't know if any of you have seen the TV show Preacher.
Yeah.
Have him dressed like that, and then have him like carrying like what are those little beads that all of them carry around? Have him like have something that gives him a little bit more personality, and then like put the who's the gun ho guy, like make him like he's a cowboy folk. Paint him out to be like a Han Solo. Like don't put him in like a cowboy hat and like whatever the fuck. Put him in like cool like tight leather jeans and shit. Make him like super badass. Like just give me an image that I could use, because I mean maybe I'm wrong, because I'm kind of new to this thing, but I just the entire time I was reading their dialogue, I just had two people. Like I couldn't do it. I couldn't like picture that in my head.
So you got more of a description from their dialogue and not so much their character descriptions when they were first introduced.
Yeah, like the way they interact with each other, like that was so like I was I was just so into it, but I couldn't. I just had two white people in a van. And it was like, damn, that sucks. And I could be wrong, but I was like, oh, I wonder what they look like. And then I started to make it up, and I even scrolled back up because I had like minor roll, so I had the luxury of like going up. And then to just see white rugged and white scruffy, I was like, oh, well, that fucking, damn it. It's like now I have to do it. And they're just so fun. And then I got even more tilted when you just sent them off. I was like, no, bring them back, come back. I like you. And then also I thought it would have been cool. Because I think the entire script, I was like, oh, like, I think Dahlia, like, she seems like she knows what she's doing. She has a plan. And she seemed like, and then it was even reassured whenever she added in the script that she was always, like, steps ahead of them. And, like, they're always trailing her. I thought it would have been so cool to, like, have her, like, contacting them, like, via cell phone or sending text messages or doing any type of, like toying or contacting Ash and Danny throughout the entire script, antagonizing them, like, ripping into Danny is because she's like her replacement. Like any type of like come and get me, like I'm gonna fucking, even like when they killed Danny's family, which was massively underdone, and I felt like it's a vampire movie, like people are staking each other, drinking blood from necks. Like you gotta flush out that like her family died. Like how did they die? Were they hung? Were they like hung up like dead deer and like gutted and like dripping? Like give me that.
Okay, so dramatize a little bit more.
Yeah, because if I was like, oh, my family died, I'm sad now. Like, show me you're sad. Let me know, like, your brother and your mother just died. Like, paint that image. Use words to be able to, like give me, like, what I want to know. I feel like I'm being so fucking asshole. Am I okay?
No, you're doing fine. You're basically saying that you enjoyed the script, but you'd like some areas to be a little bit more descriptive to help relate, or not rather relate, but to express the feeling that you think it should feel.
I feel like Danny and Dahlia and Ash were all really fleshed out characters sitting on a blank canvas of space. And that was a real disservice to how well she like created these characters. Mm-hmm. And then on the flip side, I thought that she should have made the hunters have more personality, have more character, because I thought that the dialogue that she came up with, though it was clunky in some areas, those are easy fixes. Mm-hmm. And then you have really good side characters who, in my opinion, if I wrote that script, I would do less of Danny being the comedic relief, because she would come in with like the sassiness, mm-hmm. I would turn the hunters into comedic relief. I would have their banter extenuate and transcend just when they're together. I would have them like busting through like into buildings, just gunning down people, and like not like again. Well, the one gunning down people, and then the other one just being like super like sarcastic. You could have had them be so fucking funny, and any time that they're on screen or they're being read, you're like, yes, like they're back. You know, it's like another one, Preacher, the two angels or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
How they were like every time they were on the screen, I was excited to see what they were going to do next. And granted, they're not the same type of character, but it's another duo. Well, if well written enough and put on a canvas that's elaborate and fleshed out, you could do really great things with duos like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
In my opinion.
Absolutely.
Fuck. What else?
Well,
let's
hop to Surge next. But if you can think of any more, send it to me, and I'll make sure that it gets to the author.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, what about Quantum?
Quantum would like to opt out.
Okay, fair enough. All right. I second a lot of what Lord Zoma, Jay Guinness, and basically I kind of second what everyone said. They got to a lot of the points. One thing I will add is that for a really great script with great characters, I feel like it has the slight problem of constantly almost reminding us that these are kind of the like the rules of the world. It's like they just explain something to one group of people for Ash to then step in and explain the same thing again. I'm older than most and I have more power. I'm older than most and have more power. For example, that's one of the ones that I could think of off the top of my head. You got to be careful with that because it can be it's kind of like the sin that no one should do. It's like don't tell the audience what they already know. So just kind of be careful for that. For an early, I think gathering from what Greg has said, that this is a very this is early in your screenwriting career. Or I don't know what the word is, but this is a really good start. So I do think this is a great story to continue on, and these are some really great characters. I would say more, but M has kind of really nailed it down. I think just making the characters a little more personable, especially Miles, who I've had lots of fun being. I should comment. Because normally my joke, being part of a church before, is to make Jesus jokes all the time. So.
Can I say one more thing and I'll shut the fuck up?
Sure.
I just remember the very end scene when you decide to kill Ash. Like, if you're gonna kill a really fleshed out character that you put a lot of time and effort in, and it is really well designed, and the tone of your movie is like a vampire movie in a film or what have you, kill that bitch. Kill her and mean it. If you're gonna don't do like the stake and then she's dead. If you want to fuck with the audience and make them kill a character that they at this point of the script they should be attached to, I'm talking like
Red Wedding.
Fucking pile drives her out the window, grabs the side of her face, throws into the side of the building, rakes that bitch all the way down to the street floor, straddling her, fucking claws out, rips open her torso, her heart's visibly beating in front of her, but then flip it. Ash is the more powerful vampire. She doesn't give a shit. Great, my chest is open. You know what? I'm just gonna beat your ass if you keep doing this. Don't make me fuck with you. Then she slides out with the fucking stake. Boom, she has it. She got it from her on the way down. Ash didn't notice. Fucking tempo changes. Then
my argument would be, because I agree with you, if you're gonna kill them, do it quick. Well, painful for the person dying, but quick, get it done and brutal. But we have to remember that this is for a TV audience, so there are some limitations based off of what the FCC allows, unless you're on HBO.
Go to HBO.
Oh, yeah. Unless it's HBO.
Aim big. Aim for that Netflix partnership.
Oh, that's true.
That too. I'm just saying, it really depends on who they're if they're going to spec this out, what's the most sellable as well, if you're thinking of putting it out there as a spec pilot. That's just one thing to consider. But yeah, pretty much I agree with you, because if you look at the Red Wedding, it's we get spoilers for people who haven't seen season 3 of Game of Thrones, by the way. Sorry. Yeah. This is kind of old now. But, they killed off, Lady Stark, I forget, Catelyn, and they showed you, they slit her throat, and they hung there. They made sure you knew she's fucking dead, So it's yeah, if you're gonna kill someone, make it very obvious, make it very apparent. This is a character you loved, so we're gonna do a huge disservice to them as if they were a person.
And to yourself.
No. I mean,
you put a lot of time into that character. Like, you're doing a
Yeah.
disservice to literally everybody.
No. I mean, I'm making a joke. It's like kill them off and make them feel bad, but it's like make it satisfying for us, make us care about them enough to where it means something. So that way, at the end of this episode, at least, we get a good motivation for whatever Danny decides to do next. You know?
Yeah, and Dahlia, she needs the trope of surprise with the stake, because that's the only way for a lesser power to kill a bigger power. Like, she needs
Yeah.
the surprise. But that doesn't mean that you can't pack that shit full of stuff before the surprise. Like, you can still have the stake and then catches Ash off guard and kills her, and that's how she wins, being the underdog. Like, that is entirely still doable. But pack more meat into that before it gets to that scene. Like, make it awesome.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like I said, you have a good start with this script. The story is good. Sorry for hitting my mic. So just kind of refine it. But the story you have is good. Work on formatting. Make sure just to work on dialogue. I have that problem a lot. Shit, I wrote at 2 a.m. for a class assignment. Asked Vincenzo how bad it was. So it's like,
Yeah.
you got this, dude.
The good part is you have really good characters.
Mm-hmm.
You have really fleshed out characters, and that's sometimes the hardest part.
I know that feel.
I guess I'm up
You
then,
have really.
right?
Yep. I'll shut the fuck up. I'm sorry.
Like everyone else said, the dialogue, yeah, sure, clunky. For me, in some spots, it's too on the nose. I love Ash. I think Ash is such an interesting character. But Danny, for me, I'm not interested in Danny at all. I want to be interested in Danny, but there's nothing enduring for me personally about Danny. And that, for me, that worries me because I'm guessing that is your protagonist because she's the one that lives at the end of the episode. So for me, I'd love to see Danny become a little bit more... For something about Danny to make me either to relate to her or, something to draw me to her, for me to care about her. Like, for me, she's just like I don't know, like, she's super interested in, Ash, but she never does anything. And it's kind of that in itself is kind of a wasted opportunity because Ash dies at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to see her, like, maybe forcibly try to push herself onto Ash, which might be interesting. But that's just something to think about. For me, I want to like Danny. So maybe, like, workshop that character a little bit because at the moment, I care more about Ash, and I would like for Ash to be the main character and for Danny to die at the end.
But Ash can't push herself closer to her or she'll eat her, right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. But, it's like, you see
Try
it,
me,
but I
bitch.
want to see it happen, Like, I want to see if it's true or if she's just, like, I just don't want to,
Like,
relate.
test herself?
Yeah, like, not Ash test herself, but Danny test Ash to see if she's telling the truth. Because she's already, like, I don't want to talk to you, I don't feel like I can trust you, I don't feel like I can believe anything that you're saying at the moment because you kept this big lie from me. So, why would she believe that she would be telling the truth about that?
I can get behind that.
Yeah, and also going off in the beginning, it's like maybe like you don't have to go through the scene where she's like, "Oh, by the way, I'm a vampire." How about it's something that she's already kind of told Danny, and Danny keeps being like, "Right, because you're a vampire, Oh yeah, you're such a vampire." And then there's a point where like Miles and Nick get up to her. It's like, "Yeah, she's a vampire. How could you not tell?" And it's like, what do you mean? She's kidding, right?
Mhm.
No. And then they start fighting. That would be a cool way to do it.
I would like to see the visual of her testing Ash, and then Ash, like, flipping out, and then having to use some constraint to pull herself back.
Yes. And on a little bit of a side note, now that I remember.
In all honesty.
A little bit of a side note. There is some things about the flashback that did kind of irk me. I love the narrative that you're telling with it, but you got to put the action that we're trying to visualize in our head. I know Ash is kind of telling us what happens, but you also have to say with your action lines what's going on screen. Otherwise, it could just be a black screen and Ash saying what she needs to say.
Okay, so orient the audience a little bit better there.
Yeah, that's a small thing with formatting, but I feel like that's an important one to point out.
My other thing is I love the world in which you have created of this magical universe. I feel like the whole aura thing keeps being said, but that might be a pretty badass POV if someone's able to see auras and we're able to actually see Ash's aura in like a POV shot would be freaking cool.
Miles.
Um, and just playing off of that magic a little bit more because that could be in itself what makes this unique compared to other series like Vampire Diaries Originals, True Blood, all those other ones. I think your world would definitely help you stand out if you highlight it a little bit more. And that's it for me. I love the script. I would.
It was fun.
I would want to shoot it.
Yeah, it sounds very much like up your alley with the script you've been writing a couple of weeks now.
Yeah. But on that note, I think we're gonna end it there unless anyone else has any last things they would like to add for the author.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for letting us read your script.
Thank you. I really liked the whole she thing. I thought that was quite a nice little original thing.
Yeah, that was nice.
So that was cool. So yeah, thanks.
I'd like to mention that the she could actually use a bit more explanation, other than the fact that they're fairies.
Okay.
But beyond that, thank you for letting us read your script.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you, guys. Let me go ahead and hop off this, guys, and let me orient my audience on Twitch real quick. Thank you, guys.
Meow.
Grazie.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
All right, guys. For all the people that are probably on Discord and wondering what the hell I'm about to say, I'm just giving the quick spiel. We do this every single Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. And next week, it will be on Smishmosh 22's Twitch page. Her and I go back and forth on who hosts it. I'm actually going to give you guys the link in 1 second. But her and I go back and forth on hosting our Twitch table reads. If you have any table reads at all that you'd like for us to read, a movie series for a feature, a TV series, go ahead and send it to us. I'm going to post a link right now. Table read. Oh, that's not right. Where's the actual effing F? F. Sorry, give me 1 second, guys. Let me grab that to Twitch table reads. Twitch table reads. Just so you guys all have that. So if you do have something you want to send it to us, this is the website right here. Come on, buddy. Give it to me. There we go. This is this right here. As always, thank you guys for watching. I love table reads. I love doing the voices. I love hearing all your voices, all your sexy voices. Just melt my ears. But not to make it weird. So yeah, thank you guys for watching and have a great evening. Hope you have a good weekend. See ya.